Welcome to Homefront Sit Rep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find Homefront Sit Rep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out Homefront Sit Rep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Wednesday live edition of Homefront Sit Rep. I am Willis. Hopefully everybody's had a good week. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so if you're traveling tonight, make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you're watching your six. You never know, the person behind you might be distracted or whatnot, so definitely make sure you're watching your six. So tonight we got a special guest on, man. I tell you what, I met this fella a while back. We kind of connected right away, just from the get-go. Him being a veteran, me being a veteran, him being a podcaster, me being a podcaster. So he's one of the hosts of Triple Threat Vets podcast. If you haven't watched it, make sure you go check them out. So we're going to talk to Matt tonight about his business that he runs. It's called GotYourSixCulture.com. He makes t-shirts, cornhole boards, but we're going to bring Matt to the stage and let him go about what he does for veterans and the community in general. So welcome to the stage, Mr. Matt. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Are you muted?
I don't know. Probably something happened.
I heard you just a second ago.
What about now?
Let me make sure. What the heck, bro? I heard you just a second ago.
Hello? What about now? Oh, that's what happened.
I don't hear you. I don't know. I just heard you just a second ago. Is your mic turned on?
Yeah, the mic's on.
No.
Let's see here.
What the hell, Bobby? But anyway, while Matt's working on that, I'm going to check on my end here just to make sure that my audio's set up right. Should be. There we go. Are you there, Matt?
Yep.
Awesome. Got you now. So
welcome you got me now?
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Yeah, I got you now. I don't know. Somehow, after we got done playing the audio portion of it, it took it off of the G3 sound card. So I don't know. It's happened twice before, and I don't know what the hell. But anyway, welcome to the stage, brother. How are you tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's the day before Thanksgiving, getting prepared. Got both of my kids coming in, so we're battening down the hatches, getting a whole bunch of blankets, getting ready to take a couple naps. That's what we're getting ready to do.
And don't forget, you got to watch football. I mean, Thanksgiving football, man.
I don't even know if we'll make it to football. We're gonna be taking naps in between, right?
Yeah,
after
definitely.
Cooking and eating,
Yeah. So how many kids you got?
I have two kids. So my wife and I, Becky, we've been married since August of 2002. And we have a 27-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old son. So they're both coming back. My daughter's still in college. She's going to be a doctor. She's definitely the smart one and the one that's achieving in the group, and then my son's going to go be an architect. But
That's pretty
we get to
smart
have
too,
him.
being
Yeah.
an architect.
I don't know, man.
Now,
We're gonna have to wait. Like if you go into the building and you find out he built it, just wait about 5 or 10.
So I took AutoCAD and general board drafting in high school, and I loved it. I wanted to become an architect. Of course, this was back in date myself in the late '90s, and then I was like, nah. I had always planned on going into the Marine Corps, and I was going to use the architectural engineering degree as a backup.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got into the Marine Corps, and I just kind of it just passed me by because it changed so quickly.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy cow. Now, when you were in the military, actually, here, let's rewind here. Go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself and where you from. Yeah.
So, like we said earlier, my name is Matt Johnson. I'm a veteran of the Navy. I did 22 and a half years in the Navy, retired in 2019. I joined the Navy out of the great state of Texas. I retired in the state of Texas. When I was in the Navy, I did construction, actually, go figure, right? I was in the CBs.
Right.
So I was an equipment operator. And then in the last portion of my career, I retired as the person that everybody says that they didn't like, but the one that gets to say you're welcome. That's why you get to say you're a veteran. I was a recruiter. So
nice.
Served in many different places. Family went with me everywhere we went. And it was just it's a wild ride. And then after retiring in 2019, still trying to figure out what you're going to do when you grow up, right? That's the biggest thing. You do something for so long, whether it's 4 years, 6 years, 15 years, 20 years, you get into that rhythm and you're going through all these people are coming and asking you questions. You feel like, you ever watch the movies and you see like the boss has the clipboard and someone's like, I need your signature, and you got to sign it. Well,
right.
When you get out, you don't have that anymore. So what happens is you got to kind of figure it out. So, I've done quite a few different things coming out of the Navy, but, now we, like you said earlier, Got Your Six is the company that we own. We do t-shirts and cornhole boards, and it's the thing that we're definitely excited about pushing, growing, and moving forward. But a lot of that drive comes from what you learn in the military, right? Like learning to above and beyond, keep going, keep pushing, hurry up and wait. Yeah. Thank God I learned that, right? Because when you do business, sometimes you have to hurry up and wait.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It doesn't happen overnight. And so that the journey's fun, but sometimes frustrating. But yeah, it's been a wild ride, dude.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wish I had the opportunity. I think we talked about this on your podcast the other night, was after I got out of the Marine Corps the second time, I went back and talked to an Army recruiter, had everything set up, and wasn't able to go. And I'm like, I never understood. Like my whole passion was to serve 20 years in the Marine Corps or military, not just Marine Corps, but 20 years in general. And, to be denied, it's just like, what the heck, and but the way I look at it now is the man upstairs had a plan for me, and I'm just living his plan at the present moment in time.
Yeah. So would you still be in the Marine Corps if you had gone, or in the Army if you were able to go back in? You'd still be serving right now?
No, I'd be out.
You'd be out?
So yeah, I would have retired at 38. I'm 45, so I would have retired.
About 7 years ago.
Yeah. Doc, happy Thanksgiving, brother.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. It's going to be a good holiday. I know that for me, being in recruiting for as many years as we were, as you go through that journey and you see things evolve, rules change, standards change, prerequisites change.
Yeah.
And it always became more difficult for someone prior service to come back in. And it became even harder for young kids that had never been in to join. And it's just, it's getting more and more and more every day as technology evolves. A lot of that stuff evolves with it, right? And so it's a whirlwind. Like there's a lot of guys that we used to see just like you, man, that would want to come back in.
Mm-hmm.
Great jobs. They would have fit the bill 100%, but then something dumb kept them from going, whether it was like a day over a time frame, or like the job that they were in, we can't get you in that job, so you can't come back in. But it was like, I don't even care what job I get, just give me one, I want to go.
Right.
And so it
Right.
just like it made it weird to see that happen. And so we would push a lot of people to go to the reserves, though,
Yeah.
if you were able, like, go join the reserves, because at least there
You're still
you'll
serving. Yeah.
yeah, and you could get recalled. And I knew quite a few guys that would I mean, like Ty, who we both know, like, he started
Hmm.
his career as a reservist
Okay.
and was like, no, or National Guard or something. And he's like, oh, no, I can't do this. No Joe Weekend thing for me. I got to go full bore.
Yeah.
And so he went in. And so there was a lot of guys that would do that. They would get back in, they'd go reserve, and they would just keep pushing, right? Volunteer for the extra duties, to all those things. And sometimes they would make themselves into irreplaceable, meaning like, we are better off with you in than you coming back every, once a month, so.
Right, right. Yeah. So my nephew, who is down at Fort Campbell now, he was National Guard, and he did that for 7 years.
Mhm.
And after 7 years, he's like, man, I got to go full time. So he signed his 4-year contract, and he's down at Fort Campbell right now, and he's loving it. Me personally, I don't think I could have went the 2 week, 2 weeks a month, and or 2 weekends and then 2 weeks for the summer. I don't think I could have done that.
I think a lot of that's because of what you did and where you served, and the stuff that you were a part of before getting out.
Yeah.
To come back in and just go to a drill deck when you know what's really going on. In some places, sometimes you're kind of just like, nah, if I can't do it all, I don't want to do anything. So
yeah,
makes sense.
So when the doctor denied me, this was right when they changed the tattoo policy. You couldn't have tattoos below your elbow.
Had to be able to cover it with one hand.
Well, no, like this was in 2001.
Yep.
And we lost a lot of Marines that had full travel sleeves.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let them re-enlist. They said if you had tattoos below your elbow, you couldn't re-enlist. Well, the excuse that the Army gave me was because I had asthmatic symptoms. And I'm like, bro, I was never diagnosed with asthma. I got 2 honorable discharges. Here's my 2 DD-214s.
Yeah.
And you're telling me I can't go in the Army? It never made any sense to me. And it's just like, what the heck is going on? But anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about you and your business that you got here. I'm going to share your website here. We're going to talk about Got Your Six culture. So tell everybody how you came up with the name.
Yeah, so I'll take you guys through a little bit of a journey on how it kind of came up. So one night, my wife, my son, and myself were watching a movie, and my son and I fell asleep during the movie, which means it probably wasn't the one that we picked that day, right?
Yeah.
So while we're sleeping, and my wife, she's an artist. She can draw, she can paint. If she can draw people. Like, she's extremely super talented. Very, very lucky to be able to work with her in the business that we're in, because it's so creative, and she's just a creative mind. She drew a picture, and the picture she drew is what I'm wearing right now. Minus the dashes, right? We put the dashes in because people that weren't in the military would come up and do the whole gutter. I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so she drew it on a piece of paper, exactly what I'm wearing right now, except for the dashes, and said, would you guys wear that on a t-shirt? And we were like, yeah, 100%. Yeah. And so then she was like, okay. So then we started to look at that, and the Got Your Six just really, for her and I, it matches, because my wife works in like the medical field, doing like auditing for charts. Like when you go to the doctor and they look at the charts, make sure everything is done right and that it was all good. But she has a long lineage of family members that were police officers, firefighters, working in the medical field as like physician assistants or nurses or doctors. She's got some family members that do that. And then my side of the family is very heavy in the military. So the one thing that we would talk about all the time when it came to the Got Your Six is just, somebody's got your back. Like we all that are in the military know that. But the other part was that if you've been a first responder, law enforcement officer, firefighter, doctor, they use the same exact term, like all the time.
Right.
It's part of the vocabulary of those country and community servants, right? And so the thing that she would talk about is everywhere we would go when I was in the Navy, if I was wearing a shirt that was like I retired as a senior chief, so I was in the chief's mess. I'd wear chief shirts, and if people would see you wearing that shirt and see the anchor on it, and they know you're in the military, they come up and say thank you for your service, and they're always thanking you. If you're wearing your uniform, they're trying to buy you food. Like there's so much gratitude towards what you do as a service member. Well, the thing she said was they don't do that to police officers, and they're running up to firefighters just when they see them around to do the same and say, thank you for your service. Thank you for the stuff you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of what we came out of Forgot Your Six was born into that, right? Celebrating military and first responders, which is the
Yeah.
reason on all of our shirts, we have the first responder flag. And most people are probably familiar with it. It's the American flag that they have all the categories, right?
Yeah.
Got EMS, nurse, dispatcher, corrections officer, firefighter, law enforcement, military. They're all going down the flag, and they're written into the lines. Most times you'll see them in color, but we just keep ours solid. And so with that flag, the one thing that we came up with that we talk about a lot, and you can see the flag in those photos that are going down, that's on the sleeve. Every sleeve of our shirt has that on there. And then if you look at the cancer shirt that's there, on the back of that, there's a target, right? And so that target is at 6 o'clock, right? But then at the bottom, it has Morse code, and the Morse code says "Got Your Six" culture on it. So a lot of the design behind what we're doing is matching to that community that we've all been a part of. And the bottom of that flag for every shirt that we have, it says "Same flag, same oath." And so that's a phrase that we've trademarked through the business. We own that phrase, which is crazy that I own a phrase. I didn't think it was going to happen too. Like we put all the paperwork in. You know, I'm a military guy, right?
Yeah.
We said, we don't need no help. And then like it takes a long time. So anybody's trying to trademark or patent anything, it takes a while. But it comes through and we're like, oh my gosh, we own it, right? So the whole meaning behind that is whether you're a military member, a first responder, and you worked in some form of service to your country through the military, community, and the first responder realm, like you're taking an oath. Every one of us take an oath. That's important. But we're all taking an oath for our country or our community. And so that's where the same flag, same oath comes in. The "Got Your Six" means that, you know, someone's got your back. And like, no matter what, in any of those situations, you know, in our early renditions, one of my favorite shirts we did that we don't make anymore, it was our crisis shirt. And the shirt design just simply said, "Crisis arise, heroes appear." And so that's true for everything. 9/11 happens. It wasn't just military guys, but it's firefighters, it's law enforcement, it's medical people. Like everyone is coming through in order to make sure that everyone's taken care of. It's a thankless field for a lot of people. And so that's what we're trying to do, is give thanks to those guys.
Heck yeah, I like it. So looking through here, let's go featured products. So you guys also make cornhole boards. Featured products. There's not a whole lot of them here. Hold on, let's go to cornhole boards.
Yeah, we're in the middle of revamping the website. So a lot of the stuff that was on there that's featured before is coming down because, you know, we're getting into the holiday. We're about to launch a lot of new things. But yeah, our cornhole boards are featured. We offer a hand painted version and we offer a UV printed version. So the version you're seeing right here is a hand painted set. Again, my wife, the amazing artist, is the one that paints every one of those boards as you see them.
Holy cow. Okay.
Yeah. And so our signature deal on the boards is going to be just what you see there. One will be like an American flag and the color scheme of whatever your design is going to be. And then another one, like on the other side, is for the Philadelphia Eagles. And so they liked the old school Randall Cunningham era eagle, and then Fly Eagles Fly. So they own the stadium. And so we did that for, I think it was a Father's Day / birthday gift.
Nice.
Pin it on. And if you scroll down, you'll see some other ones. Houston. We live in Houston. The one with the Iwo Jima was done for a police officer here in the Houston area. You know, we're from Louisiana, so hence the LSU boards.
The LSU ones, yeah.
Yeah. And then if you look a little bit above that, every one of our sets will come with 2 braces on them. One has our logo on it, and then the other one to the left over there is going to be a scoreboard that you actually
Nice.
put golf tees in, so you can keep score while you're playing.
Nice.
I
Now,
always stand on the got your six end though. I don't want to do the golf tee.
right. Yeah, I don't like doing the score either. I guess that's good if you're out drinking with your buddies and you got to have
It is a
score,
drinking
somebody
game.
Yeah. So are these ACL boards?
So
Or
they're not sanctioned, sponsored, or endorsed by the American Cornhole Association, but I mean they're pro style boards. They're
okay.
24 wide, 48 inches long. They're going to sit the 12 inches from the ground to the top of the back, and then it hangs down from the front. So they're all built to pro style specs.
Okay.
Just it's our custom version of them. But yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that make cornhole boards and they're not pro style, with the regs of pro style.
Yeah.
I was looking at them and I was like, yeah, these look like they are.
Yeah, so all of our boards are going to be built with a 3/4 inch birch plywood, right? Because the 3/4 inch is the thickness you want. If you go anything less than 3/4 of an inch, you've played on boards before. When you throw the bag, you hear a pop, like a bounce
Yeah.
on the board.
Yeah.
It's because that board's too thin for that bag to hit it. And then if you get like anything over 3/4 of an inch, that's when it just sounds like you're hitting a brick wall when you throw them.
It goes
What you want to
thud.
hear is like that hollow pop when it hits the board. That tells you you're right at the right thickness. And so we buy, like a matter of fact, just this afternoon, we've got a couple of orders that came in for Christmas that we're doing right now. And so we went to get the wood from a lumber yard. So we go buy the Baltic birch. It's going to be the ones that are like the pressed very, very tightly. You're not going to have a lot of voids in those. And so everything that you can see in that picture right there, we did everything of it. We cut the hole, we round off the edges, we make the braces, we drill the holes. Becky paints them, and then we box them up and ship them. So the price that you see there through the end of this year, at least anyway, is going to be what it is. Price of wood going up. That may change in the new year, but the price that you see is we ship it too. So like if you're going to get it shipped to you, we know that you're spending a good amount of money for those. And so we're not going to charge someone for shipping. So they ship for free.
I love it. Yeah, because you're featured. I guess you had them on maybe on
and
sale.
That one right there is a UV printed product. So what that means is I could take the exact picture that I'm looking at you right now, Willis, and I could take that and put it on a board. It'll look exactly like you see it because it's printed on the board, and then we seal it with the polyurethane. Nice. So you have two options. The printed option is less, obviously, because our artist Becky's not going to be sitting down for hours painting a board to make it look right, and then what we tell a lot of people is you could have seen any of those boards that you saw on the last page, let's say the LSU boards, and you're like, I really want to have those. You just got to understand they're not going to look exactly like those boards in that picture because you have an artist drawing them. So it's going to be a little bit of difference in each of them as they come through, which is unique. And then she signs the back of all of them. So if you ever get a set of boards from us that is hand painted and done by her, you'll know what number set it was because she numbers every one of them.
Oh,
it's almost like a painting where they only release 100 of them and you got one of whatever. So she numbers every set that she paints.
Oh, that's friggin' awesome.
Yeah, man. It's pretty cool.
So now tell me a little bit about your co-branded designs. I know we've talked about it before.
Yep.
And I really like what you guys do here with the co-branded stuff.
Yeah. So like I said, Got Your Six was started to, kind of what we want to do is celebrate, remember, respect, and I guess what you would call like portray or show our first responder and veteran community in the light that it should be. Something that we're proud of, something that people, should be proud of, respect, grateful for what they do. And so we work with some nonprofits in our area, but we'll work with anybody nationwide. And so the deal behind that is on the website. You see there's 3 different products there. For right now, we have 3 co-branded shirts. And so what we do is if we meet a nonprofit or a veteran organization, like for instance, Project Zero, who's on there, the black shirt, they do work for veterans and first responders, right? So they provide mental health counseling, which is free of charge for 6 sessions. And then they could get it extended if they really need it. But all it is that veteran needs it, then they get it for them. They also provide them with adventure getaways to do shark fishing from the shore, or they'll do overlanding. So they'll go out and ride the trails in a Jeep and camp and eat food and fellowship, right? So that's what they do. And then the other ones, G300, those guys do hunting and fishing for veterans. And then the third one that's on there, the canine one, that's actually one of our local school district canine units.
Nice.
So, yeah. So what we did for the two, not this one, but the other two nonprofits, if you buy one of their shirts, we tally it up. And at the end of everything, when we're doing the books and we're finishing everything out, whatever we sold for that shirt, they get 25% of that, just off the top, bar none. They get 25% back. So, if we sold $100 in shirts, we're giving them $25. They don't pay us one dime for the design, for the shirt. They don't pay for anything. We put it up because we know what they're doing for veterans is very much needed and important. So the least we feel we can do is help support that mission, right? And so then with these guys at the canine unit, what we do for them is we met these guys, and they might as well have been in the military. They're some pretty cool guys, but they were like, what we do for them is we kind of create a bank account for them of 25%, right? So they would love to give kids in the school that are doing good things a t-shirt, right?
Heck yeah.
So they're going to give them a t-shirt to be like, oh, you did a good job. Here you go. So the more shirts you buy from them for their unit, it's stockpiles for them. So if the officers want another shirt they can wear, then we're just going to give it to them. If they want to give one to the kids, then the kids get them. It's a way for them to give back to their community and their school district for something that, again, they don't need to have any money into. It's just us to help them get there. And so when we call it co-branded, it's because there's a portion of that shirt that gets sent to the organization.
I love it. Yeah. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, we've had funny looks before with a couple guys though, because we've been like, hey, we want to make a shirt for you guys. And they're like, what? And then we tell them what we do, and everybody tends to sometimes ask, like, well, what's the catch?
Right.
Well, the catch is I retired. I don't do the stuff I did when I was in the military anymore. And we're looking for that way to give back the same way we did while we were in. We used to volunteer at the Ronald McDonald House, like through all the organizations in the military. You go do all these community service events because they would seek out the Navy or the Army or the Marine Corps to be like, hey, we're doing this thing. We would love some volunteers, especially being in recruiting duty. We had a lot of opportunity for that to give back.
Oh yeah.
And so now we're finding those ways to do it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Now the sweaters, I'm assuming this is for the ladies up here. Yeah. So this is just for, I'm sure Becky came up with this idea.
Oh my gosh. So yeah. So, oh man, it must've been, I don't know, a month ago. Every time I walk into a room, Becky is watching a murder mystery, a horror movie, listen to a podcast about how to get away with murder. Everything deals with like murder and crime.
Right.
I'm like, what are we doing? And then she was just like going through, and she's like, I'm just gonna make a shirt. And so she found this, developed it, made it, and so now she's got it up there because it's true, right? There's probably a lot of people on here that are like, man, I'm really worried. She watches a lot of true crime. It's almost like, are you trying to figure out how you're going to get it done the right way so that you don't get caught? Because you're hearing what all these guys did that got them caught. You're like, noted. Don't leave a hair on the sink. I got it. And you're like, what? What are you talking about? And then the other one, notebook. Yeah. And the other one is for Christmas that she did. So, if anybody's familiar, which I wasn't super familiar with, the song that it comes from. There's a song that has another term in it, but it's kind of a play on that. And so like, this is her Christmas of like, all the moms are the ones out there fighting and getting the gifts and, making sure that the Christmas is good most of the time. So this is just a way for them to do that. Yeah. And then,
that is awesome.
That's the start of her line. I guarantee you that there's going to be a lot more that come.
Oh, I guarantee it. So I have a feeling there's going to be a buttload of them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you got your clearance items. Now, these
Yep.
are ones that are going away,
Yeah.
or just ones that you just.
Yeah, that's right. So a lot of these designs, like the same flag, same oath, a lot of the got your six. So if you notice, I mean, if I take the microphone away a little bit, we have dashes now in
Mm-hmm.
between the got, the year, and the six to kind of separate them to make it easier for people to read. So when you see these on the screen, they're not separated. So it's the old way that we did the shirt. So call it an OG shirt if you want to.
Right.
But these are shirts that we're doing for $10 because we're not going to make them again. So rather than try to sell them for 25 bucks and make a whole bunch of money on, we figured sell them for 10. That way we can move them out the
Just
door, and then
just
some of
cover your
them.
cost pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, we've had them in inventory for a little bit, and some of these shirts, like the same flag, same oath, is going to get redesigned, right? Because that's one that's part of our tagline. The firefighter will
Right.
get redesigned, and so some of these, as you see, like we tell a lot of people when we go to the trade show events that we go to,
Mm-hmm.
none of these shirts say Army, none of them say Navy, none of them say Marine Corps, none of them say Coast Guard, none of them say any of the branches services, right?
Right.
Because if you want a shirt that says Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, you can go find it right now in 10 seconds and you can buy it. You can buy it wherever you
Right.
want.
Right.
We're trying to come across the design from they look like you would wear them if you were in the military, but they're for everybody, including, law enforcement and
Right.
firefighters
Right.
and first responders, which is why specific designs for us, if you see in here, there's a law enforcement design, there's a nursing design, there's a what else do we have in here, a EMS design, we had a dispatcher design, we had a corrections officer. So those parts of the flag that we represent, we want to make designs for them, because I don't see a lot of designs that are like EMSs, celebrate
Right.
them, right?
Right.
Nurses, you should give them thanks. Nurses coming out of COVID were probably the most overworked people that there was, probably the bravest
Oh
people
yeah.
we had during that pandemic, because they left their house and their family every day to go stand in a hospital around a disease that nobody knew what was going on with it. We had no idea what was going on, but they went every day because they wanted to help people.
Oh
And
yeah.
they should be celebrated for that. It takes courage to do that job. I don't think I could do it, but
Yeah, so my sister-in-law my wife's sister Stephanie, and then her husband Steve, that she's a paramedic and he is EMT.
Yep.
And I tell you what, those two, they worked their took us off during COVID. And then
yeah,
we have several friends that are nurses, and Jill, she was on her wing was dedicated for COVID patients.
yeah,
And it's just like, holy cow. And you got to think, people were scared shitless when this COVID shit came around, and
absolutely.
nobody knew what was going on. And
Yep.
so, everybody was freaking out. But nurses, teachers, law enforcement, medical personnel in general.
Yeah,
They deserve just as much respect as us as veterans.
for sure.
And a lot of times they get overlooked.
Yeah.
I know you've probably heard me talk about David Rubin down in Florida with the
Mhm.
Hero Strong.
Yep.
That's what he focuses on all of them.
Yep.
And it's just like, cool, man. That's something neat to see. And I'm glad to see that, your company also, has shirts for nurses and EMT and first responders and stuff. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, again, like anybody that wears a shirt that served in the military, I would be hard pressed. This is me personally, Matt Johnson, just me. I'm not talking for everybody, but I'd be hard pressed to find 3 people in an area that wouldn't go up to a veteran if they were walking around the uniform and say thank you for your service, thank you for what you do for us.
Yeah.
But I could probably point out 100 people in a crowd that are like, ooh, the cops here, we got to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they're
yeah.
cool. Like, they want to talk to you as well. They want to say hello. They want to, they want you to share stuff with them, right? And and what else is really funny? And we talked about this, I think, another time on a round table or in the other one. What's really funny is half the guys you see wearing a uniform as a police officer, firefighter, are ex-military.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if they were wearing their veteran T-shirt, you'd be
They
like,
go up and talk
"Thank
to
you."
them.
He'd be like, "I saw you
Yeah.
yesterday. I was walking around here in my police
Yeah.
uniform. You didn't say anything. You were like running from me, but
Yeah.
today I'm cool. I don't know. It's crazy."
Yeah, my daughters will right now. I will go up if we're at a restaurant and they see somebody who's in uniform, regardless if it's EMT, firefighter, you name it. If they're in uniform, my daughters will go up and say thank you for your service. Same thing with veterans, and I instilled that to them a very long time ago.
Yeah.
For one, I have a lot of friends that are on as police officers. And then Stephanie and Steve, they're both, in the medical field. And I'm like, girls, you need to make sure you respect
Yeah.
the people that are in uniform. Go up and say thank you for your service. And same thing with veterans. A lot of veterans nowadays, when you go up to them, you say thank you for your service, don't know how to respond to it a lot of times. So me personally, if somebody comes up and says, "Hey, thank you for your service," I said, "Thanks, I'll do it again. I would do it again." That's what I normally say to that. So I just tell my girls, "Hey, make sure you go up and say thank you for your service." And if they don't respond, they don't respond. Just
See,
turn around.
that right there's the tricky part is we're taught as kids, if you're being polite and nice to someone, then there should be like a response, right? Like a thank you or a no problem or whatever, right?
Right.
The problem with that is there's some cases where guys just like they don't want to be thanked for what they volunteered to do,
Right.
And sometimes people get offended if they go up to a veteran and they're like, "Thank you for your service." And they're like, "I don't need you to thank me for anything." Right? They're like, "Oh, what an asshole." You're like, really? He's not. He's just saying like, I don't need that. If I wanted the recognition, I would have like played sports or something where I got paid a lot of money and then I had the right to walk around and be like, I'm awesome. But a lot of those guys aren't like that. But I mean, even with now a lot of younger guys that are coming out of the military, I think sometimes you'll find that with kids that they went in, they could only stand for 2.5 years of an enlistment because maybe something happened where they had to get out, right? Because of everything we've done here over the last 20 years. And they didn't do a full bore or a full tour or a full enlistment. And so when they come out, they probably sometimes are almost like, you don't know. I don't know if you should say that to me. Like they're unsure, right? But what I would say to all those people or anybody out there that's doing that, if you served and you wore a uniform, if someone thanks for it, just say like you said, right? I'd gladly do it again. Thank you. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's crazy. I like to go up to people and thank them for their service, like veterans. If I'm not wearing a shirt or anything, right? I'm not wearing my own. I mean, shit, you have tattoos, so I mean, if they see it, you have it. But a lot of times, you'll walk up to people or I'll talk to people. I'm like, "Thank you for your service." So like, "Oh, I appreciate that," and then we'll walk off. And they're like, "Why didn't you tell them that you?" I'm like, "Because it's not important."
Yeah.
I wanted to recognize that guy. I didn't want to be like, "Oh, me too." Say thank you to me. Right?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of veterans out there. Like I'll say thank you for your service, and they're like, "Oh, did you serve too?" And then that's when I'm like, "Yeah, I did 6 in the Marine Corps." Of course, it's kind of hard to.
That's what I mean. If they're paying attention, but if not, you just say, "Thank you," and then we move on. And
and my wife, she
sometimes it's
doesn't.
good.
Miss Julie, she doesn't understand half the time. Like I'll say if somebody comes up and says thank you for service, I'm like, I would do it again. Thank you. And I would just turn around and walk off. And she's like, "Why did you just walk off?" I was like, just because I didn't need to go into any more detail.
Yeah. We weren't there to rehash the entire career.
Right. Yeah. And, so like when I first met Stephanie, Julie's sister, so it was when Julie and I first started dating many moons ago. Like I said, we just had our 18th wedding anniversary the other day.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And Stephanie's first word that she said to me, "Have you ever killed anybody?" That question.
What time is it?
Yeah. That question just it drove me so crazy. Like when people found out, I don't talk a whole lot about what I did in the military just because I don't need to talk about it.
Sure.
What people need to know is I was in the Marine Corps. My primary MOS was 0311. I was with 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines, 1st Battalion, 8th Marines. That's all people need to know. They don't need to know anything else. I got 2 honorable discharges.
Yeah.
Leave it at that. And she's like, did you ever kill anybody? I'm like, And I just turned around and walked away. I didn't know. She was 13. What was I supposed to tell her? Yeah, I've seen the pink mist. No, I couldn't tell her that. You know what I'm saying? So I just it is what it is. But
I like to, whenever you have kids that are young like that, I think it's a good way to tell them. It's just like, oh, I don't know if we should talk about that. Would your mom and dad be happy to know if I told you anything like that?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, let's change the subject.
Yeah, I just turned around and walked off.
Wait, are you coloring a picture? Let's, just trying to take some attention off that, because I mean, it is a question that people ask all the time, and it's just like, holy shit, why would that be the first thing you want to know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you just ask me the coolest country I ever visited? Like, I'd love to tell you that one.
So, okay, speaking of that, what's your coolest place you've ever been?
So I was very lucky. The Bahamas.
Ooh.
So I was a different kind of sailor. I was in the Seabees, and then I did recruiting. So I was never a shipboard sailor, right?
Okay.
So I'll go to VFWs, right? And I'll talk to a lot of Marines like Mr. Willis here. You got more sea time than I do, bro. I know you do. I know you do.
I do.
But I'll go into the VFW and we're talking to these dudes, and I'm like, yeah, I was in the Seabees, and then I was a recruiter. Like, wait a minute, you didn't go on a fucking boat? I'm like, took a tour on a couple. It's pretty cool. They were like, get the fuck out, like doing that. I think that's the funniest thing ever. But no, I never was on a ship to go on deployment like that, because we was always Seabees. So we were actually always, which is crazy. We always flew, but more Marines have more sea time than I do. Yeah. And we supported the Marines in everything, dude.
That's crazy.
But we always flew in before they got there to set up the camp and make sure the fob was ready, make sure the GP's up, the command center was up, like making sure that infrastructure was there. It's crazy. The guys that didn't fight really good are the ones that had to go initially get it ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and so all of my deployments were like on land 7 months, and so the Bahamas for me was the coolest one, because I got to live like right by the water, go fishing, play volleyball. It was a rough deployment, dude, I promise.
So my favorite country would have to be Malta, which is a little island off the coast of Sicily. We pulled in there 6 times in a little port town called Valletta. And I tell you what, it was amazing. Like the scenery, it was just it was spectacular. And then probably number 2 would be Greece. When I was in Greece, I was in Thessaloniki, and that was pretty cool.
Nice. So you're a Mediterranean kind of guy, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but I like Barbados too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't go to Barbados in the military. I went there on a civilian cruise.
Doesn't count.
Where I actually got to enjoy myself.
Yeah. I think maybe the second favorite place I would have gone was probably Korea.
Okay.
We got to, I've always been like a history kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
I like history stuff. I like reading about it. I like learning about it. And so we got to go see a lot of the old Buddhist temples in Korea.
Nice.
We got to go see a lot of the museum stuff they had there with like the monks and all these artifacts.
Right.
And, we walked a 3-hour trek up a mountain to take 15 minutes to walk down because it was that steep, but you got to see where they lived and stuff like that. Was super cool. And just to see how they lived there, one thing I remember for being in Korea, when you drive down the expressway or their tollway, right?
Mm-hmm.
We would drive down and like off to the side, these big ass lane stripes, right? And then finally we figured out from the civilian firefighters at the base where I was like, oh, that's our runway. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, if shit goes down, they're going to shut down the interstate, and that's where we land all the planes. I was like,
nice.
That makes sense. He's like, yeah, we try to use a lot of space for the best that we can. I'm like, well, that's pretty smart.
I mean,
no interstate down in America, dude.
I mean, we could. I mean, there's plenty of interstates that we could shut down, but they wouldn't do it.
But these are lined out and ready to go for like runway takeoff. Like they've got all the big lines. They've got, like here's your runway, turn, and the dotted lines to make the turn to know where your takeoff. all that's already lined up on there. We were like,
See,
what? That's crazy.
I don't even remember. So I was in Pohang.
That's where I went there too.
Yeah. So Pohang.
We
So did
drilled
you
your
go?
well so you could have water, buddy.
Nice. So yeah, our base had that Korean. It was like the Hard Rock Cafe, but it was the Hard ROK Cafe.
Yeah. Republic of Korea, or
Korea.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Mr. Kim he was the proprietor of the Hard Rock Cafe, and
Everybody's
also
Mr. Kim though, bro.
well, he also owns a steel mill in Detroit somewhere.
No kidding.
Yeah, so he
Nice.
had some money. Let's put it that way. He had some.
He
money.
might have even owned the galley in Chinhae because Mr. Kim owned that too. I remember that.
Maybe.
Yeah. So
I think
when we deployed to Korea, we went to drill a well there. We're going to Pohang, right? We flew in, we got there super late, and we stayed in the horse stable right in the beginning of camp, right?
Okay.
Remember the horse stables?
Yeah.
So we were sleeping in the horse stables. And so I'm in a second class. I'm an E5 at the time. I'm still learning what the Navy's all about at this point, right? Because as you're starting to go on deployments and do these different things, you're starting to learn more and more as you go, right? You're only in there 3 years, even though I had ranked up pretty quick from being in school. But this was the first time I knew what like a chief meant to everyone.
Yeah.
Because 4:30 came around, bro. And those dudes was banging that trash can in that horse tail. I'm like, get the fuck up. And I heard my chief walk out the door and be like, who in the fuck is in charge? And they pointed and he goes, come here real quick. You heard the door close. You're like, damn, he's getting that dude at like 4:30 in the morning, right? And then they were like, sorry, chief, and left. And we never got bothered again for the rest of the deployment.
Nice.
That we were doing the well. And it was like, damn. I just remember going, that guy's legit. Like,
hell yeah.
Marines were like, oh, sorry, we won't come back. Because he was like, let me, right? Because we had to start drilling and all that. And I remember watching you guys running up and down the little path with the log.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. God.
Log PT, baby.
Pohang was so fun. I'll tell you a story when we were there. So we were there. This was in 99, I guess it was.
Bro, if you were there in 99, we were probably there at the same time.
It's a possibility because I was in Okinawa and we went over to South Korea.
That's where we went to Pohang from, was Okinawa.
Nice. We were probably there together, more than likely. So we were there during monsoon season, and we were supposed to do a 11-day field op with the Korean Rock Marines.
Yep.
So we hump out like 20 miles to where our destination was. We link up with the Rock Marines. We start doing our training evolution, and then a monsoon comes in. It rained 11 days straight.
Yeah.
11 days straight. The Korean Rock Marines, as soon as it started raining, they packed up and went back to base. They're like, we're out, deuces. Our company commander, now his last name was Schweitzer, so we called him Adolf Schweitzer. That was his nickname. Decided we were going to stay out there for 11 days in a monsoon. And
you can't get opportunities to train in the real world like this. We're not going to pass this up. I know that's what he was telling you guys. You can't pass it. And everybody's like, fuck that. Can we go back? Like,
yeah. I tell you, by the time the 11 days were up, we had no dry gear. We had guys with like trench foot and crotch rotch, and it was bad. Battalion commander sends trucks to pick us up because we were supposed to. We ain't
marching back from that.
Oh no, our company commander said we were humping back.
Oh my gosh!
Now, granted, him, the first sergeant, the company gunny,
and the Humvee
commanders. Well, no, they got to go back to rear and get dry gear. You know, they took their turns going back and getting dry gear. We had no dry gear, no dry socks, no nothing.
And then they walk up to you guys every day like, you didn't prepare for this? We're like, wait a minute. I just saw you leave yesterday. What are you talking about?
So he decides we're humping back 20 miles. Trucks are there. Battalion commander said, hey, put your guys in trucks, because he knew we were out in the rain for 11 days. And we started humping back, and everybody starts falling out and getting in trucks. Everybody. We get back to the main gate there, and battalion commander's waiting. The only people that were still walking with the company commander and everybody was just like a select few of people that got to go back to the rear and change gear. Needless to say, that was not a very fun conversation for Captain Schweitzer at the time.
Oh, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
hold on. Let's think about this one. That's one of those. Let's think logically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
So Doc is a Navy corpsman. He started out on subs, and then he went greenside with the Marines during Desert Storm, I believe.
God bless you. He's salty too. I can see it in the picture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Doc is salty. I love it.
Hey,
Shirt.
but Doc, listen. I have 4 certified by the Navy deployment ribbons. They're like right back there on the wall. They gave me 4 sea service ribbons, like for being on deployment. I got them. They're legit.
Nice.
We flew over water to get to deployment. Does that count?
I guess.
Yeah. Because in the Navy, you have, when you make chief, you have black shoes and brown shoes, right? Mm-hmm. So in the Navy, if you're an aviator, you wear brown shoes. It's kind of like a thing. Okay. And if you're a shipboard sailor, you wear black shoes. And those two communities, like someone who's like a machinist mate or a shipboard sailor, when they make chief, they'll always be like, "You want to get them brown shoes?" And they're like, "Hell no, I'm not getting the brown shoes." And then the aviators are like, "I got to get the brown shoes." So I wore brown shoes, right? Because I color coordinated my khakis with the uniform. And so they would always give me shit. And I was like, dude, I flew on an airplane to every deployment. That kind of makes me an aviator, right? Like I had to fly there. It's not like I rode the boat there,
Yeah.
I'm more aviator than they were like, you're an idiot. I'm like, I'm just saying. Oh, by the way, the uniform regs say I could wear either one. So I think we're good.
Okay. So I guess you should have had your own color. Should have been like pink or purple or something.
I would have wore the shit out of that too. Let's go.
Look, Doc says right, flyboy.
That's right. See, it's all good. It's all good.
Oh man.
But yeah, it was funny to watch because people would get into all kinds of stuff over that, and I just like, I'm wearing brown shoes.
Nice. So you could have wore either one, depending on the situation. Okay.
Yeah. So my brother was in the Navy for 20 years. Also, he was a bosun mate chief. So he was in like the oldest rating in the Navy, right? And he was a black shoe guy, and I wore brown shoes. So he tried to give me shit about it.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, dude. You look like you're wearing your shoes from boot camp, dude. I look like I realized that I'm in upper level management now and decided to dress the part. I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
Nice.
He gets so mad, dude. But that extends that whole, the camaraderie that we have. A lot of people look at that and they go, those guys really hate each other. We're like, no, actually, we're best friends. Best friends.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Like I give my nephew so much shit because he's in the Army. He's like, "Oh, Army's better than Marines." I'm like, "Come on, dude, ain't really Marines yet." It's I always mess with him, and it's all fun and games. But let some civilian mess with my brother that's sitting next to me or wherever. I'm going to jump in. Yeah. So man, it's pretty cool.
It's a good time, dude.
All right. So what you got any new shirt ideas coming up that you guys are working on? Or
actually we do. We've taken a few of them to some events that we've been privy to the last couple months. We've got a for all my Navy peeps out there, and if you live in Texas, the Don't Tread on Me shirts, right? We have a Don't Tread on Me design that we have that we need to post. It's on the website. You just saw it. That one just went up. We have we had the breast cancer ones. We launched those for October. We still have a few left. Once we sell out of those, that money gets donated to Susan G. Komen for that because it's breast cancer. We have so you live in the great state of Kentucky. And you live in Louisville, and we have an old-fashioned shirt that's out. That's a new one for us. The Easy Day shirt is a new one for us, and then the one at the bottom, we relaunched the new shirt like that one, but that one's going to be it's an army green with white ink, so it looks like a MASH shirt, right, from back in the day.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, and then we have a couple other designs that we're working on right now, trying to make sure that they're the right fit. You know, we're trying to come up with some, like, as you can see, front and back designs. Traditionally, we've done a whole bunch of front only with just words, and so now we're venturing and getting comfortable into the realm of creating a full design to put on a shirt and kind of have a mix of both. You know,
Heck
um,
yeah. Heck yeah.
there's going to be some funny ones coming though, for sure. There's going to be ones that I don't want to say anything because you know, the t-shirt industry is one where people are listening and people are watching, and they'll
Oh yeah, they're very pickle.
they'll make it before you do. Let's put it that way.
That's true. That is
Yeah.
very true. If you come up with a good idea, it's kind of like the smiley face.
Yep.
You come up with a good idea, it's stolen before you could even get it to print. So
Yep, absolutely. But
I
yeah, I
like
mean,
it.
we have, those are new ones. Those are all 25, and then obviously when you have over at the clearance side, they're 10. Again, everything on the site ships for free. So if you order something, it ships out. Everything that is clearance, it'll be in the mail in 2-3 days. You could probably order those up to December 13th, 14th, and still get it for Christmas if you were looking for something like that. Some of these other
Nice.
shirts, you might want to order them a little bit earlier because they're more production shirts for us right now, you know, because we went into the realm and we're like, let's make some shirts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're venturing into and testing more of a print on demand kind of model. So when you order it, we make it and send it.
Nice.
That
Nice.
way you know, the inventory doesn't sit there, and then we, you know, it's a pretty fresh one made. It's not going to change the quality or the design of the shirt, even the stuff that we have in inventory, but we just found, like all business owners, right?
Yeah.
We're going to sell 1 billion shirts today. No, we're not going to sell 1 billion shirts. And so we're just trying to find that balance, you know, and then, you know, just put it out there. But
I do like that old fashioned.
yeah, man.
I like that. That's pretty cool. And then I
What's my
like the don't.
favorite drink? So, you know.
Yeah. The first time I had an old fashioned, oh God, I was on a cruise ship. Matter of fact, on a Carnival. What ship was it? I don't. Anyway, I was in the bourbon lounge on there and got an old fashioned for the very first time because I'm from Kentucky. I drink bourbon, or I used to drink bourbon. I do occasionally now, but it's very sporadic. Like the last time I think I had a drink of bourbon was when I did the bourbon podcast with Southern Cross Distillery,
Oh,
which
nice.
I need to get you guys hooked up with those guys.
Yes, please.
That way, because they're based in North Carolina. Now it's two special operators and their spouses that run the company.
Mhm.
It's Crux Distillery, and
Okay.
they sent me a bottle of bourbon. I don't. It's not down here anymore. It's probably upstairs in the liquor
It's
cabinet.
empty and on
No,
display.
no, it's not empty. It's not empty, but it's about. I let a lot of people taste it because it's new bourbon.
Yeah.
Now it's a blend. It's not a so they don't distill it at Crux Distillery. They're working on becoming a full-on distillery, but
Right.
so it's a sourced bourbon. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
they get the bourbon from Indiana, Kentucky, and then it gets shipped down via big truck to their distillery in North Carolina, and then they have a master blender come in and blend it. Um, so the bottle that they have right now is the Southern Cross, which if
Mhm.
you're a special operator, you understand where that comes from.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna stop sharing. So it comes out Southern Cross bourbon. It's sourced. It's for special operators. They're coming out with a Raider Chaser, is what it's called. And then they're going to come out with a Legendary series, which will have Medal of Honor recipients as the legendary.
That is awesome. I
So
like that.
I need to get you hooked up with Alan from Crux
Yeah.
Distillery.
I got
I'll-
a guy I'm going to send your way too. With it's a company. It's here in Texas in the Houston area. It's called Big Stick Bourbon,
nice.
and we just you know, from our podcast, Scott and I, went and did a smell my bourbon podcast, and
Nice.
he was on it. And well, you're already gonna love the dude because it's Marine Corps owned, right? However, I don't want to even mess up the way the guy that described it, but I need to get you in touch with him to get him on your podcast so that he could describe to everybody, like, from the label to the bottle itself, everything has a meaning.
Oh yeah.
Like, everything. And the way when he explained it, I was like, no shit. I was like, I need to go back and redesign my logo, like, right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But
that's
it was good.
so same thing with the Southern Cross bourbon. Like if you pull up their bottle, it's a New Yorker style bottle because the Danny Dreyer, who's a MARSOC Marine, was from New York. So
Okay.
it's the New Yorker style bottle, Southern Cross bourbon. It's got the constellation on the back of it, which if you're in the Navy, Marines, you always navigate by stars at nighttime. So the Southern Cross and
See, that I did know. That I did know.
so it's pretty cool. So I need, and if you hadn't watched that podcast with Gunny Dreyer, I don't want to call him Gunny, even though that's what his rank is. He rates master guns, but he's not getting promoted because of the stuff that went down. I'll tell you offline how to look it up. His podcast, man, I sat on it for a month and a half after we recorded it because we had to wait for his lawyer to approve us posting the because he's still he's probably what day is it? He's getting ready to actually be forced out of the Marine Corps. 24 years, getting ready to be forced out of the Marine Corps. He's getting an honorable discharge, but he's been forced to retire. And I'll have to tell you offline how to Google it and research what I'm talking about. But I don't want to bring it up right now, just in case somebody, Big Brother's watching or whatnot. But
they're always watching, dude.
Oh yeah. Danny was an awesome time on the podcast, and then Alan, we had him later on. Which Alan, if you've seen his resume, you'd be like, dude, this can't be real. If you've seen his resume.
Man, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it had Rocco Vargas on it, right? And so the other day they were talking, the host and him, and as they were talking, the host was like, have you ever read your own resume? And he's like, no. He goes, bro, you should probably read it sometime, because if you would react any way that I did, I'd be like, what in the fuck else hasn't this dude do? And he goes, this thing's impressive. Like, wow, and then coming from the host that was doing it, it kind of makes it even more like, if he thinks it's wow, then it's got to be wow, But it was funny to watch them go back and forth. Like, nah, I just like put the stuff I did on the paper. It's like, just read it back to yourself one time to see how you feel. That sounds like the guy you're talking about is kind of the same way, right? Like, he's got that resume that when you read, you're like, can we do this in about a year? I need to go do a couple more things before I talk to you, like.
Oh yeah. Well, here, let's see. Let's watch this. I'm gonna bring it up if it'll let me. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is the bio he sent me. So all right, so it's Alan R. Smith is his name. This is just stuff that he talks about here. So he was what did he say? Trash or dumpster baby, then adopted by a mixed family. At age 6, he was a child actor working on TV commercials, moved into like television shows, Gunsmoke, Medical Sense, or Center, Brady Bunch, Rockford Files. So that's just the tip of the spear there. Let's go down here. So child.
I like at the top though, it says creds.
Yeah. So child actor, U.S. Marine, firefighter, paramedic. Dude, I'm telling you.
He ascended Mount Everest. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So he's a climber too.
Yeah. It's
found a trunk in a cave outside Death Valley. That's like cool shit. Like, okay.
And it's just like, is this real?
Yeah.
You know? And then here, Operation Barbecue Relief, mixed media producer to nonprofit that is. So dude, this guy, I'm gonna have to send you this bio so you can read it.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. That looks
dude,
cool.
Alan was a great guy. Loved having him on the podcast and getting to meet him and Danny and um, same with you guys. You know, all four
For
of you
sure, man.
guys. Now, I got a question.
Yep.
My either Grace asked me or Julie asked me. She said, "How come it's called Triple Threat and not something else?" Because there's four of them.
Gotcha. Okay. So we get this question a lot, and we like to say it this way. Okay. How many Navy SEALs are there?
I
So
don't
the
know.
answer is we don't know, right? We don't know. But
Right.
there's not three, but they can go air, land, and sea, right?
True.
And in sports, how many players are on a basketball court? 5. But you can
Yeah.
pass, you can shoot, or you can drive to the hoop. You have 3 choices, but there's
got it.
5 people on the court that can do it. So the triple threat is more meant towards, with all of us, there's nothing we can't accomplish, right? We're a triple threat in that sense of the manner. Like if you
I
ask
like
a
it.
question, I may know something, or Scott or Ty or Al, like we can all interact with those things in our own way, but it's not, we're not held back by we've only done one thing. Like the semblance of triple threat is we can do anything and everything that we want. So
I
like,
love it.
great Super Bowl teams are called triple threats, right? Because they
Yep.
are good
Yep.
in offense, defense, special teams. You
Yep.
know what I mean? If
Yeah.
you're a triple threat on a baseball team, right? You got good pitching, you got hitting, and you've got
And
good defense.
Yeah.
So like overall, the triple threat is just towards the thing that you're doing, not necessarily how many's there. But and let's be honest, we named it that so people would ask and we could explain it. So.
It works. I mean,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
like I told y'all before, I just happened to stumble across your podcast when I was scouring Facebook and the internet, and I was like, man, these guys are. I love what you were doing from day one when I first started watching you guys, and now hell, last night when you were on with Rocco, I was in the living room, had my Bluetooth in. My wife was in our bedroom watching in the bedroom,
Yeah.
and then Grace was at the kitchen table on her Chromebook watching on her Chromebook.
That's awesome, man.
Now she couldn't get on, for some reason she couldn't get on her phone. I guess because maybe y'all have an age restriction, maybe, and Facebook wouldn't let her.
Well, we do for every episode, and we'll just disclaim it. Al's on the podcast, so everything has to be checked explicit, right?
Okay.
But because we say curse words and we say things that that some people could deem inappropriate, right? We check that box, so that's probably what it was. Probably wouldn't let her because of age restrictions get on there, just so that that just lets me know that Facebook is like doing its job, right? It's working. It's not going to just let anybody jump in there and go, "Oh my God, Mom, I learned how to talk yesterday." There's this guy with like a black-faced beard. Dude, he's awesome. That's my hero now. And then Al's going to be like, uh-oh. Yeah. So we check everyone explicit just because we never know how it's going to go down. And because they're just like this one, they're always live, right? And so there's no ability to cut something out.
Yeah.
When you're live. Now we could if we wanted to mash it up later, but in the moment there, we just rather like proceed with caution.
I'm the same way. Like mine are all explicit just in case, because I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth, let alone what's going to come out of another veteran's mouth. So
for sure.
And some of the stories that I've heard on here, especially like Sam Deeds, my buddy Sam, he, we went to boot camp together. We went to 2nd Battalion 8th Marines together. Some of the stories that me and him could tell you, oh my God, man.
I think I heard a lot of that podcast with him because you guys were talking about, that's where I first heard the story about the truck, you falling out of the truck. And then I heard him talking about, he's been through all this stuff in the Marine Corps, and then now he's trying to do whatever for his claim. And they're just like, yeah, I don't know if it's service. He's like, what are you talking about? Like it wouldn't have happened. And if I would have never done that, dude. You know,
Yeah, he got blew up.
that's what I mean. He's like,
yeah, it's like,
no,
come on, bro.
okay, all right.
It's the VA for you.
Yeah,
They're
I'm
always
rocking
going
with
to
it.
try.
I'm rocking with it. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
but
always going to
his
try.
was very interesting. Yeah, you guys had that was a good one. I like that one.
So I need to get you in contact with him as well.
Yeah.
So he is one of the directors for the Mogadishu Mile here in
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky. They put that on every year, and it gets bigger and bigger every year.
And then he does something with is
Blue
he the one
Skies.
also that did something with jumping, right?
Yeah, the parachute guy. Yeah. So he doesn't actually parachute. He's one of the ground team guys. But yeah, he travels all over the country for their Blue Skies is what it's called, I believe, and they parachute into stadiums and stuff like that. So with the flags,
Cool.
Definitely want to get you guys connected with him as well.
Yeah, I think we're all gonna in this big network that we're building, man. We're gonna have just an array of people that we could share back and forth, because a lot of the people that you talk to and we talk to, and like Rich LaMonica, who we're gonna have on soon.
Yep.
All the people that we talk to collectively all have a story to tell, and we're still like the military, right?
Yeah.
Thinking about that, like in the military, you have your organism or community of people that you run with.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes kind of going outside of that a little bit and sharing something for everybody to understand what that is. And so a lot of these stories that you hear or that you see or that you tell, like, it's good to get them to other places so that they can experience it, or have someone else that wouldn't have seen us see you guys, and that's I like that we're doing that share for it, because it's important for everybody to get through. When you find all that, it's service before self is what we were taught, right? As a leader, as a military member, as a dad, as a husband, as a family man, everything comes before you always anyway.
Yeah.
And
so the tip of spirit that we got coming up on the 29th. So Adam Bird, who is the founder of Heroes Media Group, he's going to be on. He also hosts the podcast, The Decision Hour. You didn't get to meet him on the first one. And then so it'll be my podcast, your podcast, Rich, I Am Pitts, Adam Bird, that he'll be on there. And then Donald Bramer, who is a former naval intelligence officer, military news analyst for all your big NBC, ABC, all your big time ones. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Carl Truman, he'll be on. I think Rich is bringing somebody on. So
you guys know all the heavy hitters, and we're just gonna hang out and entertain them. That's what we're gonna do.
No, and that's the whole purpose of doing this tip of the spear. For one, we get to talk about current and former issues within the military, veteran community, law enforcement, whatever we want to basically talk about at that time. And with like Carl, he's a lawyer, personal injury, but he also wrote a book on how to help file claims with the VA and stuff like that. And then you got Don Bramer, who's in DC. So he owns the Bramer Group, or he's a founder of the Bramer Group. They lobby in DC for veterans' rights in DC. He's also the co-founder of the American Freedom Fund. And then
I was looking at all this stuff for some of these people that we're going to talk to. And I was just like, shit, dude, you guys want to buy a t-shirt? I do that.
Well, I tell you, so
I could hook you up with one of those.
Okay, so here's the thing. Don Bramer, I need to connect you with him, because he does M3's coming up, which is mistletoe, or Manhattan's Martinis and Mistletoe, which is their big American Freedom Fund's gala. They have swag bags that they give out like when people walk in. So when I went in 2019, we got Black Rifle coffee. We got like 2 pairs of socks and other things from in this swag bag. Maybe we can get you connected with AFF and have your shirts put inside of the swag bag.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You could design a logo for for the missiles, Manhattans, and mistletoes, And then that'd be pretty fucking badass, I think.
Yeah, I've already got ideas of what you could do for that kind of thing. Anyway, that'd be cool.
There you go. So I'll definitely have to hook you guys up.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Don's a amazing guy. So yeah, we'll definitely hook you guys up. So
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Well, I'm gonna pay the bills real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll close it out.
All right.
Da, da, da.
Owner of Talents here, and I just want to say that we are ecstatic to be a major sponsor of Homefront Sit Rep, a community that is ran by veterans and made for veterans. So thank you for tuning in. Talents was formed in order to create a music scene that was together in the form of a collective, so that no one has to do everything on their own. And guess what? We've been doing this for free for over a year. So please go and check out Talents through Facebook or through our official website at www.talenttalents.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you again for tuning in to Homefront Sit Rep, a veteran-owned and operated podcast just for you.
And we're back. Waiting on another one for one of my other sponsors. Waiting on his video.
Those guys are legit. So they do a lot of work for free for people, is what it said in the ad. So what kind of? I mean, I saw events, graphic artists, so they'll do logos, they create stuff for people, they do all that.
Yeah, so like for this podcast here, he created my intro, outro.
Wow.
He does promotions, like he does show venues for big bands, small bands,
Nice.
and he does it for free.
Wow.
That's, I mean, it's pretty neat what the stuff that he can do, and then his partner. So he's got a business partner who owns Louisville Local Entertainment, which is going to be my new sponsor as soon as I get his video. And he also has a lot of bands that he helps promote and gets gigs and stuff like that. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, I'm excited. We're working on some summer series concerts next year where we're going to have these bands come in, and the proceeds for that's going to go to different veteran service organizations, like Wannabe Dogs Helping Heroes.
Yep.
Next to be Active Heroes, and we're going to end on Veterans Day. We're going to have a parade / festival where we're going to have a concert set up at the amphitheater here in Mount Washington.
Nice.
It's going to be pretty epic, I'm hoping. So yeah. If you're in the music scene, check out Talents at www.talenttalents.com, or go to their Facebook page and check them out, man. Matt, do you want to say anything before we drop out and end it?
No, I mean, well, I appreciate you having me come back on. We were on before with our crew, but I always do like also talking about the ventures that we jump into, and it's a passion for my wife and I to help as many people as we do through whichever means we can do it, whether that's t-shirts or cornhole boards or whatever. Just the support that we give people, that they appreciate, that we can see where that support goes, is what's most important. And so we're excited for 2024. We can't wait to get it moving and get it jumping. We're starting to look in the arena of brand ambassadors, like what that would look like, right? Or how that works. Like how do we formulate that, right? Because still growing, still learning, still doing that, but we know that there's a lot of people out there that can help us promote what we're doing for the right reason, right? Because it's going to help so many people. And so we've got a lot that we've got going on. I mean, right now we're knee deep in all kinds of stuff for Christmas and orders and tournaments and all these different things, but we wouldn't want it any other way. Like it's growing pretty fast, and we're just appreciative. And I just appreciate having the time to come on and talk to you, especially the day before Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.
Give thanks out there for everything that you have. You never know when, where, how, or what you will not get to do, see, or say again. So
Yeah.
appreciate the things that you have, and always lead with gratitude. So enjoy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have, I don't know, do you guys do turkey?
Yeah, we do turkey, and my mom does chicken and dumplings.
Oh,
Homemade dumplings too, not the store-bought stuff.
bro, chicken and dumplings are good. That's my favorite.
Yeah. It's grandma's recipe, and
Yeah, and look, so just so everybody, there's a comment that came in. We're talking about figuring out brand ambassadors. We have an OG, so like if anybody is going to become a brand ambassador, like you're going to work for Ty Cobb.
oh yeah,
That dude, not only like he's supported us from day one, and he's just that guy. Like we love him to death, and so like if you are going to be, just know the application process goes through
Ty.
Becky and Ty. Becky and Ty. They're gonna be like,
Nice.
let's talk about this.
I,
Because to me, I'd be like, what do you do? What do you?
Can I be number 2, Becky, please?
I don't know. Number 2. I mean, I want to be number 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be right behind Ty. I mean,
There
Kentucky.
you go.
Yeah,
For sure. But yeah, so we're just rolling through it, and then we've got a book signing here in Texas, anyway, local, on the 2nd of December with Rocco Vargas, who just wrote the book Borderline. We're hosting him out for a meet and greet, and see, look at that, you got the sure
I love
thing.
Becky already.
You're in, dude. But we got a book signing going on the 2nd of December with Rocco Vargas here locally for us in Texas, like a meet and greet for him so people can come out and meet him. We got a limited amount of books. So if you're in Texas or you're going to be in the Houston area, or like the other day with us, you were like, hey, reserve me one. If you want a book that's signed by him, I have a limited amount that we can send people links for, and they can pay. And once they've paid, once it's signed, we can send it back to them if they would like to do that. So the only thing you have to do there is just know Willis and tell him to get in touch with us, or send us a direct message on Facebook at the Got Your Six Culture page, and we can definitely help you out.
All right. So let's say this: if anybody wants to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you other than going to your page? Yeah.
So we have I can join the chat, I guess, in the chat here. I don't have a YouTube account.
Hold on.
Our email for anybody that's out there is info. It's going to be info at the same got your six that you see under my name.com. That's it. So
let's see. I'm gonna post it in the chat in just 1 second. I'm gonna do anyway. Yeah. Come on. My phone's wanting to be slow at the moment.
That's all good. So yeah, it would be info at gotyour6.com is our email. We have Facebook, Instagram.
Oh, Becky got it. Look at that.
Yeah, she's on top.
She beat me to it.
As always. Look, success doesn't happen
without Becky.
For sure, 100%. She pays attention to everything.
So what you're saying is you married up.
Every one of us did, and we all know it's true. For sure.
What's up, James?
Yeah.
How's the deer hunting going, my brother?
And then, Becky just dropped our number in there. That's our business line. If you have any questions,
there's the email
546-6590. And then we're on all the social media. We have TikTok, we have Instagram, we got Facebook. We have those are the main ones that we use all the time. So you could message us directly in any of those. And those are just if you start typing in Got Your Six, just the same way you see it written there, it'll come up in those social media sites, and we can communicate and connect there for sure.
And I will tell you, they respond pretty quickly, because when I reached out to them, it was within a matter of like 15-20 minutes, and I had a response.
And that's important, right, to us, because if someone's reaching out to us, they want something, help, whatever it is, and we want to make sure that we get to them. And again, our sameflagsameoath.com is the new web link that we have. We actually were like, there's no way that web link is going to be available, and it was, so we took it. But Same Flag, Same Oath is now the website link. It makes it a little bit easier for everybody to get to versus the Got Your Six the way we spell it. So that's why we went Same Flag, Same Oath. So you can get us in any of those. There's a feature to connect with us on the website, again, in all the social media channels. But anything that you need, and if you can't get us there, just reach out to Willis. He'll get you with us for sure. Get us in
Definitely. I
touch.
will hook you guys
Yeah.
up. All right, man. James, I'm sorry to hear that the deer hunting's going slow up there. I hope I need help, please. I need a drink. Well, you're pretty far away from me. I can't help you there with the drink, brother.
Hey,
But
you should have packed that, dude.
he probably had a little bit with him. But he's been down there for a while now. Almost 4 or 5 days, I think he's been down there
Whew.
at this place that he's at. So, Matt, I thank you guys for coming on here. Next time you need to bring Becky in with you so I can see her face.
Okay.
I know last time she was blurred out. You had her blurred out last time. I forget you wasn't home. I don't think. I don't remember where you were at.
Yeah,
but,
we were visiting my daughter, and so like just because of the way the background was, we had it like the haze out in her apartment.
Yeah.
And like she was walking back and forth, so we're like, oh, yeah, there she is.
Yeah. Hey, so speaking of that, you had kids while you were in the military. Your kids grew up with you while you were there. I'm going to do a military child podcast episode soon. Do you think maybe 1 or 2 of your kids might come on and be on that episode as well?
I mean, I could ask them.
Okay, because my daughters, I didn't have my daughters until I got out of the military.
Yeah.
But they see the struggles that I have, and they deal with it as well. Because if I'm in a bad mood or something triggers me like that, then they deal with it.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is have a episode where they talk about some of the things that they see from their dad, and I'd like to get somebody that had kids while they were in the military and the struggles with moving around and all that other good
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
So
for sure, I can ask them. The worst they'll do is say no. My daughter will be here, like I don't know, tomorrow is when she's going to land, and I'll ask both of them, and if they're both interested, I'll just get you their email sent over so you can communicate with them and
cool.
Get it set up.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
and I'd like to have you on as well with them. So
Sure.
I think Deeds said he was going to talk to his kids. I just want to have a few people and have the perspective from different kids from different age groups, because like mine are 15 and 16. Yours are a little bit older, and I think Deeds is somewhere right around there too. So just the different things, because your experience was different than my experiences. Deeds was different than mine. So just to get that different.
For sure.
I think it'd be a pretty good episode. So
especially
James,
my kids will talk mad shit. It's gonna happen probably.
James, have a good night, James.
Now, James said his kid's 31. Does that count?
Yeah, that counts.
Hell yeah. You can have a beer with your kid.
No, yeah, definitely. James, have a good night. Hopefully you get you a buck tomorrow or a doe, whatever you're looking for. Some meat in the refrigerator. I'm going
you get
this
to eat
weekend
for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm going this weekend, and I can't wait,
Nice.
man. I'm going up to my buddy Rocco's place, and he's got, so the main property's almost 200 acres, and then he leases out another 3,000 acres. So so you write this down, Campiro, Kentucky.
I got it.
So I'll send it to you in email or text message. He would be another good one for your podcast as well.
Yeah.
So he was military, then law enforcement. Now he runs a nonprofit called Camp Hero Kentucky. I think his name's Rocco Besniak. That's a hard one. I think he'd be another good one for your podcast as well.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool. I'd like to talk to him for sure.
But yeah, James, have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir. Becky, thank you once again. And I can't wait for the whole brand ambassador stuff to come up because I'm excited. So I wear grunt style all the time. As you can tell, if you look at any of my podcasts, I got grunt style on.
We'll fix that. Don't worry.
I need to fix that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I need to fix that. So Becky, me and Matt have talked about it. I need a shirt design for Homefront Sit Rep, and you're the artist. Can you hook it up?
Oh, dude. If anybody can make that happen, it'd be her.
So
I just take credit by coming on here and being like, she's awesome. She did good. But like For sure, we could do it. We'll send you over some information. She's already told you. See, she said she's got you.
She got me.
So we'll get some information from you, and then we can start the creative process and do that for sure.
So yeah, like so like on Homefront Sit Rep, however, and then on the back, I always say one veteran at a time, and then I like the naked clock with a 6 at the bottom, representing I got your 6.
Yep.
So just throwing out some ideas out there.
No, for sure. That's all good. And then for anybody else that's out there, if you have ever thought of a design, or if you have a nonprofit, or you have an organization that you work with, a lot of times when we look to do fundraising, we're trying to get people to buy stuff to fundraise, right? So that organization has to spend money to raise money, right?
Yeah.
If you have an organization, we don't work with all of them, but we're willing to talk to any of them, and if there's a way for us to make it happen with other organizations out there, to where we could come up with a co-branded design for you, we can do much of the same thing we're doing here in Texas, and make sure that one, we get the word out there for you guys. People will see your shirts in the street. People are gonna be wearing what is important to you, but at the same time, it'll be our way to give back to help you support your mission. So with all the other contacts we gave, reach out. If there's anything we can do to help, we'd love to do it.
Awesome. I did talk with Rick Ames from Louisville Local Entertainment earlier, and I was telling him about having you on tonight about you guys doing shirts, and he's like, "Do you think he would do it for me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just
Absolutely.
reach out." So I see. I'm already a brand ambassador. I'm already working it. I'm gonna be your top salesman.
She's already said that you're number 2. So
I love it. I'll be number 2 all day long.
That's right.
All right, Matt, man, you have a great night, brother. Tell Becky thank you for letting you come on and talk about your company. And I love what you guys are doing. And I can't wait to see where our friendship goes, and then our little community that we're building here with all these different podcasts, veteran podcasts. It can only go up from here. And it's already working itself that way. So
I'm
is.
It's growing exponentially. And so, like, again, I appreciate being on. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Hope you guys have a great day, and everybody else out there, happy Thanksgiving, and enjoy the rest of the holiday.
All right, brother, man, have a good one.
Yeah.
All right, guys, like I said, check them out. Go to all any of their websites, gotyoursixculture.com, sameflagsameoath.com. Check them out. Go out there and order you a shirt. Definitely go to the ones where they help veteran service organizations and stuff like that. So go check them out, man. Other than that, like I said, have a good night. Like I always say, stay safe out there, and I got your 6. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget, you can find Homefront Sit Rep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcast.
Stay safe out there. I got your 6.